Awesome. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another one of our awesome T-Mobile company info presentation sessions. My name is Corey Wiseman. I am a recruiter on the early career team here at T-Mobile, which means I get to spend all of my time talking to great students just like you. So today, as we get started and kind of chat through our agenda, I'm just so pumped to have you guys with us. Thank you for carving out an hour to spend with us. I know it seems like a really long amount of time, but I promise it's going to fly by and we're going to have so much fun. With me is one of my colleagues. Her name is Remy. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Remy Crespo. I am a tech recruiter here on the Early and Careers team with Corey Wiseman. And to echo what she said, I have the coolest job ever because I get to hire great, amazing people such as yourselves. So we're excited to talk to you today.
Awesome. And yeah, I totally agree. We have the best jobs in the world, like hands down. So as we get started, I am going to give us a little overview of the T-Mobile story, talk about where we've been, where we currently are, and then where we're going. Hello, 5G. We have an awesome panel of East Coast school alumni with us, including a former intern who can give you some insight onto what it's like to spend your summer with the Uncarrier. Feel free to pop some questions into the chat. Into the Q&A box. Also, I've got Remy who can help answer those questions for us. But one thing is we may turn off our cameras as we get going into the presentation, but we're still here. You'll still hear me, and then you'll get to see all of our wonderful faces after the presentation. So to kind of get us started, the two brands that you see up on your screen right now are going to be T-Mobile and Metro by T-Mobile. And those are the two core brands in which we've been established by. So T-Mobile encompasses all of our post-paid consumers. You use the service, then you pay for it. Metro by T-Mobile gives us that nice blanket for prepaid customers. Pay for the service, then you use it. Easy peasy, right? With these two forces combined, we are now the #2 wireless carrier in the country. How cool is that? We have clawed our way back from the dark days, as we'll call them, when we start talking about our past, in a failed merger with AT&T in 2012. And because of that, it set us on this awesome trajectory to become the #2 wireless carrier in the country. Of course, we still have a couple competitors to overcome. You'll hear us use their names very interchangeably. Verizon, AT&T, maybe Dumb and Dumber, Tweedledee, Tweedledum, you never know. We use all kinds of language and fun Uncarrier terms for a lot of our teams, a lot of our competition, and a lot of our groundbreaking work around here. To get us started, I'm going to turn off my video and I'm going to kick us off with a video.
We are going to redefine.
We are not going to stop.
Fighting for consumers.
Knocking down barriers.
Eliminating pain points.
And breaking the rules.
To set people free.
We are unlike the others.
Our success isn't measured in dollars and cents alone. It's measured in the lengths we'll go.
Putting customers first.
Treating them right.
Changing the rules.
And it's measured in customer love.
People joining us.
Not just subscribing.
They are part of our story. This is about freedom.
Bringing people together to do more than ever before.
This is an invitation for everyone.
Everywhere. To connect. However, whenever, wherever. We are giving a new voice to a world without limits. And we just have one question. Are you with us?
I don't know about you guys, but that video always pumps me up. This notion of are you with us? We want our customers to be part of our family. Same for our employees. We give everything to be your #2 wireless carrier, and that comes out of every single pore, every single fiber of our being. The Are You With Us campaign launched Super Bowl 2019, and we've carried that trend with us throughout what we're going to call our Uncarrier revolution. So the term Uncarrier, what does it mean? Well, it simply means we're not like the other guys. We do not want to be AT&T. I do not want to be Verizon. I don't want to be Comcast, Charter, or Cricket. I want to be T-Mobile. the uncarrier. So we started this with our uncarrier revolution and the idea that our customers are right. Our customers should get what they deserve and our employees get the same. So John Ledger, who was our CEO back starting about 2012, 2013, all the way through 2020, is very famously quoted for saying, listen to your employees, listen to your customers, shut the, I'm going to leave that blank because I'm talking to college students, up and do what they say. And that's exactly what he did. It all started with Simple Choice, which was our first move on this great timetable to really change the wireless industry. Simple Choice said, we're done with contracts. We are not going to tie you to a wireless carrier just so you can get a new phone every 2 years. This magical piece of glass in your pocket should not be a contract. It should not be a marriage. It's not a ball and chain. Come and go as you please. If you want to come and hang out for 20 years, great. If you want to come and try us out for a couple months and then you find something better, that's okay too. So this idea of we're not going to be like AT&T who says, okay, you have 28 months and if your phone's not paid off, then you have to stay and you have to sign another contract to get the best rate. No, thank you. From there, we just kept it going. Ideas like Simple Global, essentially eliminating borders. You land in another country. I would love to be able to travel these days, but #COVID has put some real bummer plans on that front. But Simple Global, you land in any other country, instead of popping out your SIM card and your battery, guess what? You're going to get a text message that says, hey, Corey, well, your names aren't Corey, but mine is. Hey, Corey, welcome to Italy, France, Greece, Croatia, Russia. We're glad you're here. Your text messages and data are going to follow your unlimited plan. How cool is that? The idea of making travel so much easier. Exploding the mobile without borders was another great one that followed that suit. Essentially making your plan as useful as it is in your home state, in Canada and Mexico. What a revelation. Mobile without borders. I see down in the chat, somebody's got their hearts around T-Mobile Tuesdays. Yes, what a novel concept. Thanking our customers for being a customer. On Tuesdays, you get all kinds of free stuff, free tacos, free donuts, free ice cream. I mean, what's the best way to get to your heart? Through your stomach. Not only that, but we make sure that you get awesome deals on travel, on gadgets and goodies, and we've been known to give away a few incredible trips or two. Some of these things that are on this uncarrier revolution are now a little obsolete as we combined music freedom, data stash, and binge on. Those are now all rolled into our T-Mobile One plan, which has very appropriately been renamed to the Magenta plan. But some things that aren't really talked about, our team of experts talk about changing the customer care industry. Generally, when you have a question on your bill, something doesn't look quite right, you call customer care and you get the robot. Press 1 for this, press 2 for this. Press 5, 6, 7, 8, enter your PIN, your account, your code number, your birthday, all of these things. Nope. You call T-Mobile's team of experts, somebody answers the phone, hey, Corey, how's it going? What can I help you with? It's a little shocking at first because I honestly am never expecting anybody but a robot to pick up. But team of experts really changed the way that not only T-Mobile handled our customer service business, but we also put that idea out there to our competitors. In fact, we invited some of our competition, Dumb and Dumber, to come and see how this team of experts really played out and really worked in person. Nobody showed up to any of those trainings, #not surprised, but team of experts, who would have thought simply eliminating the IVR, that robot that you call into, could make such a huge difference in the life of our customer. And Remy, I'm gonna call on you because I would love to know, even if it's one that I've already kind of talked about, what one of your favorite uncarrier moves has been.
Well, my favorite uncarrier move is actually T-Mobile One because I am old enough to remember when you would be charged for text messages. And anytime you went over your allotted like 500 text messages, because that was the plan that I could afford when I was very young, you would get charged 10 cents extra per message. So of course, one time I went over by 500 messages and ended up with an extra $50 phone bill. So T-Mobile once they rolled that out, they forced other carriers to follow. And I love that we changed the industry in that way. And I think that's really what the uncarrier revolution is really about. It's like, hey, join us. Whether you're with T-Mobile or not, you are going to benefit from this revolution.
Love it, Remy. And way to set up that novel idea, because in talking about it, T-Mobile One, that's our T-Mobile Magenta, that's our all unlimited plan. Guess who had it first? We did. Guess who followed suit? Verizon. So even if you aren't a T-Mobile customer, like Remy mentioned, you are benefiting from these uncarrier moves. Netflix on Us has become AT&T promoting HBO Max. And who does, one of the companies, I don't know, Dumb or Dumber, Tweedledee, somebody in between also does an Amazon Prime membership. Where do you think those novel ideas came from? It wasn't from those companies. It was definitely right here in our land of Magenta. Some of these statistics down at the bottom, I always make a joke. I can never keep these slides up to date because we are moving so fast. So this 100 million plus customers, this number keeps on growing quarter to quarter, and we are about to release our Q1 earnings or Q4 earnings from last year, so I know that number is going to change. This 100 million only encompasses those who are on the T-Mobile network. There has been this little teeny tiny itty bitty thing that happened in 2020 called our merger with Sprint. So once we get all of our Sprint customers and our wonderful Sprint family transitioned over to the T-Mobile network, that number is going to skyrocket. Again, one of the other things on this slide that doesn't get highlighted a whole lot is this churn rate, the percentage that you see right in the middle sitting at 0.85. That is insane for the wireless industry. So churn is essentially the rate at which you lose your customers. So back in 2012, when we were kind of going down really quickly, our churn rate was sitting just about 3%. And that is calculated every single month. So if you think about it, we were losing 30% of our customers, 30%. Just let that sink in. Now to have this percentage sitting below 1 at 0.85 is unheard of in an industry of our size. And I would challenge you to look at some of your favorite industries, maybe the cable networks, maybe your internet service provider, and see where their churn number is sitting. Again, it's not a statistic we talk a whole lot about, but it is one that has become like so near and dear to my heart. I love talking about the churn rate, and guaranteed that rate is going to go lower and lower and lower with more ideas like this team of experts, right? So that notion that we're really here for our customers is what drove this percentage from 3 all the way down below 1%. Just incredible. Of course, the total revenue is going to continue to go up as we finalize, now that the Sprint merger has been finalized, but we work on finalizing some of those smaller details like our system and network integrations, the race for 5G, all of the crazy things and huge groundbreaking business ideas we are up to at T-Mobile. So we chatted a little bit about where we've been, the dark days of 2012, the failed AT&T merger. We talked a little bit about what we've done, our uncarrier revolution, and all of the uncarrier moves that we've released to dig ourselves out of that hole. Now, where are we going? We're going bright magenta across the entire company. So as I mentioned, just this little teeny minuscule thing happened in 2020, which was our merger with Sprint. So a couple dates up on this slide. Day 0, April 1st, 2020 was when the merger closed, when the FCC and the DOJ said, yep, we are approved. You guys are good to go. Congratulations, the new T-Mobile. This day 1, August 2nd, 2020 was when a lot of our networks and systems started to integrate. The Sprint brand has kind of gone into extinction. You will no longer see them on the New York Stock Exchange. You will no longer see Sprint commercials. And we are working on transitioning all of our retail stores over to the new T-Mobile branding. And I know on our panel today, I've got some awesome marketing folks with us who can talk a little bit more about that transition and some of those different pieces if you're interested. This gentleman up on the screen, that is Mike Siebert. He is our new CEO. So 2012, 2013, when John Ledger took over, Mike Siebert entered kind of around that same time, but has worn so many hats during his time with T-Mobile. He started as our chief marketing officer. He has worked his way up to our chief operating officer and president. And then at the close of the merger, he is now our CEO. Mike is such a wonderful guy. And each summer he comes and spends some time with our interns, which I think is pretty incredible. I don't know a lot of other companies that actually offer or even have their CEO offer to spend time with the interns. He'll come and hang out for an hour, sometimes 2, sometimes 4, just answering questions, chatting all about his journey, what it's like to take big risks in your career, and the reward, how it all pays off. Mike is following that same line of customer obsession and employee obsession that John Ledger did. Mike is very invested in us as a company, and he is the perfect person to lead our Uncarrier mission forward. Of course, we can't forget about the race for 5G. Now, I am not a technology person. That is up to a lot of other people besides me. I just know I have a 5G equipped phone. But what does it mean for you? So what it means for you as we integrate the T-Mobile and Sprint networks in the race for 5G, it means connectivity is going to get better. Mid-band, low-band, high-band spectrum is all now combined to make your phone, this magical little piece of glass that we all keep in our pocket, work even better on America's most Magenta network. So any more technical questions inside of that, feel free to pop them in the chat. Maybe we've got somebody on our panel who can help answer those questions. Maybe Remy can help jump in as a tech recruiter. I'm still getting my feet wet in the world of technology, but it is on my agenda to learn a little bit more about 5G this year. Who wants to join us? I mean, I wish I could see you guys. My hand is in the air right now. I want to join this Uncarrier revolution, and I hope you do too. So most of what we are here for and to tell you guys all about are our summer internship opportunities. We also hire for all kinds of full-time roles. So if full-time is your jam, don't worry. A lot of the information I'm going to share is going to be the same, whether you're early in your career, you're still finishing school, or you're a seasoned professional ready to hit the full-time ground running. Our internship program, I'm a little biased. I have never worked on another internship program, but I think ours is the best. And in fact, Way Up rated us one of the top 100 internship programs in the country. How cool is that? If you think of how many tens of thousands of companies there actually are in this country, to be rated one of the top 100 is outstanding. Our summer internship is 12 weeks long and kicks off in May. So we have 2 classes of interns that run May through August or June through September. That way we can accommodate multiple student academic schedules, whether you're quarter, semester, maybe a trimester, all of those wonderful things. During that 12 weeks, you are working on real projects. You are getting your hands dirty on some of the work that continues to push our Uncarrier needle forward. You're not running to get bagels. You're definitely not picking up coffee for anybody. You are working on real projects, things that you can put on your resume, portfolios you can build and brag to your friends about. But during this 12 weeks, we know that it's also #summer vacation. So we make sure you're also having a really good time. My team plans a bunch of fun events, intern trivia, Pictionary, Jackbox, Party Box, along with opportunities to network with our leaders, our C-suite executives. Like I mentioned, our CEO comes and talks to our interns. So does our chief technology officer, our chief financial officer, and you name it. Everybody is always vying to get time with the interns, and I love it. Also, 12 weeks during the summer, not only is it a paid opportunity, hopefully, fingers are crossed, toes are crossed, heart, eyeballs, legs and crossed, that we can be back in person for this summer. There are still some decisions being made about an internship program and whether it will be hosted virtually, in person, or some kind of hybrid model. I know a lot of you are interested in the timing and how that all looks and feels. So am I. Our leadership is taking state, federal, and CDC guidelines into consideration when making these decisions. So even if we don't have an answer for you today, I can 1,000 million trillion billion% tell you there will be an internship program. I just don't know if it'll be from your couch or from our offices. Remy, what else am I forgetting about internships?
How about that we were named one of the top 100 internship programs?
Yes, we absolutely were. And we won a couple other awards too from different companies or from different school organizations that recognized all of the hard work that T-Mobile puts into our internship program.
Other than that, I think you covered it all.
Heck yes. I'm like trying to check off my list. You guys are my first presentation of this year, so I feel a little rusty at times, but want to make sure I get all of those questions answered and all things considered. Sometimes the biggest question about internships is the application process. There is no GPA requirement. It's not necessary to even be studying in an internship field that you're looking to get into. I will pop up the link for our internship site here pretty quickly, but just to get you like super pumped and amped about internships, I am going to show another video. But real quick, I did see a question pop through the chat. Types of internships. You name it, we do it. Being a Fortune 500 company, we do everything from corporate communications to marketing to strategy, finance, treasury, network technology, 5G, spectrum, urban planning development, internet service, you name it, we do it. So we'll chat a little bit more about internships, how you apply, how you get considered, and all of that in just a second. But like I mentioned, another video just to pump you up.
Internships with the Young Carrier. Change wireless for good.
Everything I've been doing is super rewarding, super understandable. I know what I'm doing and why it's being done. I am not just someone that they give busy work to, that I am a respected member of this team, given full responsibility and ownership of every single project I've worked on.
Literally the first day I arrived here, saw somebody with a mohawk and like just a crazy magenta outfit, and I said, what kind of world did I step into?
I immediately felt welcome. I was doing work. I mean, I wasn't expecting to be in actual corporate meetings the first day on the job. I'm working on a consumer complaint audit as well as a consumer authorized control audit.
I respond back to potential candidates when they want to know more about their application status. I do different type of updates where we find content to post to our channels.
I'm doing things that actually matter. So I'm doing this matrix for lobbying team. I'm researching export law, things like that actually have an impact on the company. I do a lot of web research on competitor products. I work to develop products that actually are listening to customer needs and addressing customer needs.
It takes a person that's passionate, that knows about the T-Mobile culture.
You gotta be driven, and you gotta be willing to work hard.
And be prepared to learn and be prepared to do real work.
Here at T-Mobile, you can be yourself.
They have regular senior leadership meetings where senior leadership will come and talk to us.
Every week as interns, the HR department plans a lot of fun activities for us. They really make sure that the interns are having fun.
They see you as an employee and not just as an intern that's on a 12-week interview. Here at T-Mobile, your voice is definitely heard, and I do feel like I'm impacting the organization with the work that I'm completing here with my internship.
I would say just jump in, head first. The experience you'll have will be the best of your life. T-Mobile.careers. Be Magenta!
And that theme of Be Magenta is like really what we are all about. I mean, you can say we drink the Magenta Kool-Aid and go that far if you'd like. But up on your screen right now, you are going to see the career site website. So T-Mobile.careers/interns is going to get you to all of our summer 2021 internship postings. Like I mentioned, everything from technology through finance, marketing, corporate real estate, all of those wonderful things. Leave off the /interns and you will find all of our full-time opportunities. So again, encompassing all of those departments. Things on the career site tend to fluctuate a little bit. It updates 3 times a day. So if you don't see a posting or a job position that you want to jump into right away, best advice is to set up that profile, set up some filters and notifications. And that way, when your perfect job posts, you can submit your application at the snap of your fingers. Make sure your resume is up to date and current with all of the projects that you've been working on, any extracurricular activities, volunteer work, and it never hurts to throw in just a little bit of magenta, a header, a footer, your name, a bullet point. You never know. That way we know that you have crafted your resume for our company specifically, and you're not going to go apply to AT&T with any Magenta on your resume. With that, I also wanted to just very quickly mention, this is going to be a very busy slide, some of the incredible awards that we have stacked up as T-Mobile. So best place to work for innovators, best employers for diversity. We have been named one of the best places to work year after year after year after year. And it's no secret why. We are completely passionate about what we do and why we're doing it. I know our panel is going to have a lot to say about the projects that their team is working on, a lot of our diversity and culture initiatives. So what we're going to do right now, unless Remy, there's any like blaring questions that I need to answer real quick.
If you just want to touch base a little bit on location, application timeline, just a little bit for those folks that may have already applied.
Yeah, good, great call out. I always forget just a couple little things. So internship location, kind of like I mentioned, we're still in this weird, awkward, are we in person? Are we not in person? Are we hybrid? But that being said, we have offices located all across the country. So we have two amazing headquarters offices, one in Bellevue, Washington, just about 30 minutes east of Seattle, and one in Overland Park, Kansas, right outside of Kansas City. In addition to those two offices, we also have regional business offices, or RBOs, throughout the country. So Atlanta, Parsippany, New Jersey, Washington, DC, Frisco, Texas, Denver, California, Chicago, Illinois. We've got offices in California and a smattering of offices throughout the rest of the country. So internship location, if you are chosen to work in a location outside of where you're currently living, T-Mobile also provides relocation assistance to get you to and from, housing, all of those wonderful things. Again, up to the hashtag COVID gods. Timeline for applying. Applications are up and posted right now, and many of our teams are already working their way through interview and selection processes. So if you are interested in an internship with T-Mobile and have not yet applied, I would absolutely jump on it. Probably get your application in by the end of the month, best case. You will see those internship positions posted until they are filled. So if you want to hem and haw about it, I don't know why you would. Think you should just put your application in, but if you need a little bit of time to get your materials together, try and apply by the end of the month, and then we are hoping to have all of our roles filled by the end of March. So kind of from here, we'll do some digital interviews, we'll get phone interviews set up for you. No interviews are going to be done in person, and they are also not going to be super painful. We like to ask a lot of behavioral-based questions and make our interviews nice and easy. One of our panelists, like I mentioned, is a former intern. So if you do have questions kind of about the process and how things looked from a candidate side, she would be a great one to ask. And with that, I would love to introduce our panel. I will have you guys turn on your video so we can see all of your wonderful faces. But Brianna is going to be our former intern panelist. So make sure you get her with the really hard questions. Totally kidding. But Brianna, Jesus, Katie, Doug, and Peter, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate your time. Wave and say hello to everybody. I wish we could see all of them, but they can see all of you. And what we're going to do, just real quick, I'll have you introduce yourself, where you went to school, what you studied, and what you're currently working on at T-Mobile. I know some of our titles and names can get a little uncarrier, so as much as you can make it relatable to the students, the better. And Brianna, we're going to start with you.
Perfect. Thanks, Corey. So, hey, everybody. My name is Brianna. I'm from Pennsylvania, graduated from Villanova University in 2019 with a degree in marketing and business analytics. And as Corey mentioned, I started with T-Mobile as an intern about a month after graduation. So I've been in that role ever since, and I'm a marketing specialist working in T-Mobile for Business on the enterprise team.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, Zeus, if you want to go next, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sure. So hello, everyone. And so I'm originally from Delaware, graduated from University of Delaware, Blue Hens. I currently work in T-Mobile under the marketing organization. Right now, my role is specifically around enterprise level initiatives from a corporate marketing perspective. And the role is really more about, being data driven to steer and guide our marketing organization as Corey mentioned, into the 5G race and so on. So
awesome. Thank you so much. So 5G questions go towards Jesus, not towards Corey. Katie, take it away.
Hey, my name is Katie Oakland. My title is Senior Director of Retail Experience, but what we really focus on are experiences that might start digitally and end up in a retail store. So things like making an appointment to come and see us. We're going to be launching buy online, pick up in store. And from there, we can do curbside and delivery and all the things. Those are the types of projects that my team leads. I was born and raised in Rhode Island, went to URI. A fun fact is that Douglas Simon and I were neighbors. And so we'll hear from Doug in just a couple of minutes. When I went out to HQ in Bellevue, Washington 4 years ago, I decided I want to go back to school. And so I just graduated in June from the University of Washington, got my executive MBA. And so I'm totally comfortable sharing that graduation date with you all, but really looking forward to hearing from everybody.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Katie. Doug, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Corey. And Katie, I have to say, it's so great to see you again. Good evening, everyone. My name's Douglas Simon, and let's see, where do I start? I'll start with where I went to school. So as Katie mentioned, I went to University of Rhode Island. I'm not sharing my graduation date, even though it took me way longer to finish than expected. My degree there was in communication studies. And years later, I decided to go back to school, and I went to University of Massachusetts, Boston. And there I completed my master's degree in adult education, which ties specifically to what I do today. You might be looking at and wondering, well, what exactly is a senior regional facilitator? And to give you a high-level overview of what we do is I work with all of the enterprise. And when I say all of the enterprise, I'm talking marketing, consumer markets, our business department. I work with all of their leaders to further develop their skills and make them even more effective as leaders. One of the things that my team and I are currently working on is it's almost like an internship internally. It's called the LEADS program, and that stands for Leadership Enhancement and Development Stretch Program. And this program is really designed for our leaders who are mid-career and looking for their next opportunity to develop their skills even further. And there's a ton of other programs that we offer as well, but that is one of my favorite, and I'm so happy that we're going to be launching it soon.
That sounds awesome, Doug. Sounds like you've got some excellent projects on your list. And I love, you guys will notice we have acronyms out the wazoo around here. So acronym city is fantastic. Peter, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Peter Morrow. I grew up in a small town called Arlington, just as right outside of Boston, and I graduated from the University of Vermont up there in Burlington. I am with the supply chain and new product development team here at T-Mobile. We support our network build. So my team specifically, we have two phases. We do vendor management. So all of our suppliers who build our sites, we work with the contracts team and we measure and make sure that those vendors are performing. And then we also work on the supply chain side, new product development, getting in on product design and kind of investigating into the global supply chain. Yeah, looking forward to bringing someone on for an internship this year. This is new for me, pretty exciting. But we're a pretty new team and really building stuff out. And like I said, pretty excited for it. So, and if you're all from the New England Northeast, I'll tell you that the Pacific Northwest in the summertime is going to knock anything out of the park compared to where you guys are now. So.
I love it. Remy, are there any questions in the chat or the Q&A box? I don't have the Q&A box pulled up, but is there anything anybody's dying to know from our panelists, or should I pull out one of my pocketed prepared questions?
Right now, they're asking mostly recruiting application questions. So I would say let's go ahead and start off with one of those questions in your pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know this may sound like a long-winded question and is going to make our panelists scratch their heads a little bit, but what is one thing you know now that you are in your established career, you're working, you love what you're doing, that you wish you would have known back then when you were in school? How relatable are some of the things you know now to our students? And Katie, you're at the top of my camera window list, so we'll go ahead and start with you.
I would say that you can always take on more. It's really easy to say, hey, my day is super full. I've got everything on my plate. I couldn't possibly volunteer to be on that diversity and inclusion team. I couldn't possibly volunteer for the stretch assignment. And I think what I've come to learn, especially after going through the executive MBA program with 2 kiddos, is that you can do it. It just takes some kind of planning and thinking through the way that you'll make it happen for yourself. So I guess the lesson there would be to say yes to the job, say yes to the transfer, say yes to the project, because you'll find a way to make it work.
I love it. That is a great piece of advice. The yes, take that risk, take that leap. I love it. Absolutely wonderful. Jesus, what about you? What is one thing you know now that you wish you would have known as a college student?
So I wish I was less timid and asked more questions. As it turns out, asking questions, even though they seem like, very simple and almost like people already know this, why am I asking these questions? Don't be bashful. Like, ask those questions. Be inquisitive. Don't hesitate to ask, because not everybody has the answers, and they might ponder around the same questions that you have, and you might stumble upon really good insights that other people may not have. So be inquisitive. That is something that I kind of kept to myself as I was, finishing college and, going out into the world. Don't be bashful. Just ask questions. Be inquisitive. And that will get you far.
Such great advice. And there's a couple panelists or participants that have chimed into the chat that's great advice as well. So way to go, Jesus. Ask those questions. Peter, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's kind of along the lines of what Katie and Jesus are saying. Kind of just go for it, right? There's people in this company that I work with who've been in the same position since 1976. They've been working the same place for 44 years, which is impressive, right? And they found a place and they've been happy and they've stuck with it, right? Someone like me, I took a little bit of a different path, right? I've jumped around quite a bit. But I think it's what you make of it, right? And kind of learn everything that you can from every opportunity. Even when you think it's kind of a no-win or something that's not that exciting, you can definitely pull some lessons out of that.
Excellent. And I love that everybody has a different perspective. So I think just rounding out, just kind of those top little bits of advice can really kind of get some wheels turning, some just different inquisitive questions started too, Jesus. So that ties nicely into what you had to say as well, Peter. And Doug, what about you?
Well, I'm going to piggyback similar to what Katie said, that you own your time, and it's important for you to, like, life gets crazy, but you have to own your own development. That's really what's going to help you along the way. And you're going to have some great mentors along the way, but also be comfortable with stepping outside of your comfort zone. I can tell you, I started in that consumer market space. And if you would have asked me years ago when I was in my beginning phases of my career here at T-Mobile, if I would work in the HR department and support the enterprise, I would have been like, there's no way. But take the risks and explore the different things that are out there, and just ask questions and find out as much information as you can to see what's going to help you be successful and really leverage your own strengths.
Yes, I love that. Everybody has a strength. Push into it, lean into it, acknowledge it, support it, and it will be there to lift you up when you need it. Perfect. And Brianna, what about you? Being our most recent graduate.
Yeah, so kind of to piggyback off of all of that, I think it's just important to be open to, you guys are so young, you're starting out in your career so young, just like I was a couple of years ago. And it's really important to just kind of be a sponge in the first couple of years. I mean, I've been at T-Mobile for about 1.5 years, and I've already had like 5 or 6 different roles just within the same team I've been in. So it's important to have kind of an open mind and be willing to try new things, and just kind of, it's really a great learning experience. I mean, in my 3 months as an intern, I learned way more than I did in 4 years as a college student. So it's important to have that open mind and just soak in everything that you can and take, as everybody's been saying, as many chances, opportunities as you can, and just go into it with a positive mindset, because you're not going to fail. You're going to just, have a lot of great experiences. So yeah.
I love it. Embrace it from the beginning. Perfect.
Yep.
And I know there have been some comments in the chat just a little bit about some of our culture, some of what our uplines look like, our CEO and our C-suite. And Katie, I know you had chimed into the chat at one point. Somebody had asked a question regarding females and female empowerment and what some of your managers and management staff looks like. Do you want to explain a little bit about our culture? We can kind of dive into some of those nuts and bolts too.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to. I'm super fortunate to work on a team where a number of my direct peers are incredible females from all kinds of backgrounds. And we have folks that came over from Starbucks, from Microsoft. I report right now, my VP is a woman, my SVP is a woman. We have a really strong DE&I culture with all kinds of networks. And so I've been fortunate enough to have folks that are on my team be really active in some of those networks. We have a ton of support, our Women Allies Network. We've got a multicultural network. I would say that there's just a huge amount of support and participation at all levels of our leadership to our events. We get incredible speakers that come on campus. Obviously, we've moved to a ton of virtual programming and events, but I think it's really incredible how many opportunities there are to join virtual sessions and roundtables and read the blogs and get newsletters and just connect with a ton of people with really different points of view. It's been really, really great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. Do any of our other panelists want to chime in on any of the culture pieces, our employee resource groups and employee networks? I know we've got a few questions geared up in our Q&A box too, so no worries if nobody wants to chime in, but I just want to make sure everybody has a chance to touch on this. I know it's a big topic, so feel free to jump on in.
I'll jump in. This is, like I said, I've jumped around quite a bit in my career. This is easily the best place I've worked, like hands down. The culture is amazing. When t-shirts count as currency, you get a pretty good place to work. It's a pretty fantastic place. I've been here going on 4 years now. And like I said, easily the best place I've worked amongst the wireless group.
T-shirts is cash currency. You hit it right on the nose. We all love our swag. Anything else anybody wanted to add in?
I was just going to say, I think one of the other things that's really incredible at T-Mobile are the amounts of programs to grow our people. I know Doug mentioned one of them, but at all levels of our organization, if you're a retail employee, if you are an intern, if you're a recent MBA graduate, it's kind of like there's a program for you. There's a talent program there's just unlimited opportunity. And I think both Doug and I are good examples of that. I'm sure the rest of the panel are too, but Doug and I go way back because we both worked in our retail stores together, started as a sales associate, and have just had the opportunity to participate in a number of different development programs. And so what I think is really incredible is that you can come into a giant organization as a part-time sales representative and find yourself in a position or opportunity that you maybe wouldn't have thought possible. But there's just an incredible number of programs and tools and HR resources that are designed to make us all successful and to continue to grow our careers.
Yes, resources for success. And I know, I'm sure Doug has a lot of background in this and really supporting our employees and the mission to promote from within and really help as we grow through the ranks, become the best version of us that we can absolutely be. So yes, thank you very much. And then we'll switch gears just a little bit. Remy, if you want to kick us off with a question from our student group, that would be awesome.
Yes, awesome. So lots of questions here, some specific to marketing. There's some folks that want to know more about what Peter does. But the first thing that I'll do to kick it off is just a question for everyone. How has COVID-19 impacted the way you do your job specifically? And I'll go ahead and open it up to anybody who wants to answer first.
Remy, I'll kick us off with this one. So before COVID-19, my job required me to travel all over the United States. We traveled 80% of the time. We joke that our homes were actually the inside of a Hilton because we spent most of our time on the road. And COVID really changed how we have to engage with our audience. Now all of our trainings have moved to that virtual world, and we had to quickly figure out how do we translate these workshops into a virtual world to keep our employees engaged through them, but also to make sure that we're translating that learning or the content that we're trying to get through. And it really has been interesting where we've had to change or use new tools. I don't have that interaction with people to see their body language. But as we've kind of moved through this new normal that we're in, people are more comfortable using cameras. They're more willing to come off of mute and engage with us so we can really see the impact of the skills that we're developing with them. It's been quite a journey, I must say.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else want to chime in?
I love this question because not only has transitioning to a virtual work from home environment really made it easier for me to stay in my pajamas all day, but it has made it hands down easier for me to connect with students all across the country that I may not have had the opportunity to meet otherwise. Generally, when our team is recruiting, we kind of split up by regions. We go to maybe 1 or 2 career fairs, maybe a couple conferences in person, but being able to talk to you guys, to you as a wonderful group of students might not have been an opportunity I would have had before. And I love taking advantage of a full remote virtual environment. I am not in my pajamas today. I can absolutely attest to that, but it has made it easier to connect. And I know that sounds so strange because we're missing that face-to-face, that personal, that handshake, that high five, that elbow bump, that fist bump, whatever it is, but it has made my connection with so many more students that much easier.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Corey. Definitely agree with you there. Next question, I'm going to go ahead and ask to our entire panel, how has T-Mobile supported you to grow as people and as employees?
So the thing I love most about T-Mobile is the fact that, coming in as an intern, everybody knows that you're early on in your career. And from day one, my manager has asked me, what are your goals? Where do you want to go? What are your strengths? What do you want to improve on? And they're super committed to making sure that your role is directly tied to your goals. So as long as you go into it and kind of have an idea of the things that you want to accomplish, the things that you want to do at T-Mobile, you're in a good spot because everybody around you is just such an awesome support system. And, all that they want is for you to succeed and for you to be the best that you can. So I think, from that perspective, it's been really helpful. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I would tell anybody who's graduating college to seriously consider T-Mobile, because you pretty much forge your own path. They're super, again, just supportive, helpful, and want to help you get to be, wherever you want to go.
Great answer. Love it. Peter, do you have an answer as well?
Yeah. So when I came here, I think it's a little bit of a different program than what Douglas was talking about. But, when I started here, I was kind of identified as a potential manager candidate. And I was enrolled in some management training courses. It was called Altitude. And it was, I like to call it a short course MBA. It was a series of maybe, it was probably 18 months total, for a couple hours a week, and just touched on a whole bunch of different topics on leadership and like I said, kind of like MBA in a bottle. And that was pretty great. Like I said, I've been around a little bit, and that was the first place who kind of provided that opportunity, really early on in my work life. So,
love it. Anybody else want to share before I move on to the next question?
Corey, I'll share. Both my husband and I, my husband's a T-Mobile employee also, Doug knows him. We both went back and got our MBAs within the last 5 years. And in both cases, our leaders were super supportive. We have tuition reimbursement programs. Honestly, it's just kind of a culture where you're encouraged to continue education and to go seek out additional courses, apply for a program. In my particular case, it required that I went in person to the University of Washington every Friday or Friday and Saturday for 2 years. And so I had to get VP and EVP approval, and they were like, well, of course you will go. And so I cannot state enough how supportive and encouraging our leaders are for us to take steps to grow ourselves, which is pretty incredible.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Katie. So this next question is going to apply to whether you've been an intern or you've had an intern on your team, but how do you measure the success of an intern? And feel free to throw in there as well how you measure your own success or how you feel you measure success on your team. But for those who are looking as prospective interns, how do you measure the success of an intern? Brianna, I don't know if you want to share your personal experience on this.
Yeah, I can start. So for me, I didn't really have any sort of like formal, I know some of my other interns had like a presentation at the end of their internship. And I actually think, Corey and Remy, it might have changed. You guys might do that for everybody. But for me, it was just more of the way I measured success was if I got a job out of it, because that was obviously my goal going into it. But I guess just beyond that, making sure that obviously nobody really expected me to be a marketing expert. I wasn't coming in to tell people, what to do or how to do marketing. I was coming in to learn. So I think that's the biggest way to measure success is if you come in feeling like you've gained actual valuable experience. Like you can go and talk to, your manager, you can talk to your family, you can talk to your friends, you can talk about things in a more educated way and apply them more to like real world situations rather than just outside of a classroom. That's super helpful. And I think that's a good way to measure success for sure.
For my team, this is new. This internship thing is new for me. But to Brianna's point, I think our goal is to kind of give a bit of a project, right, and kind of take ownership of it and kind of drive it. And, at the end of the 12 weeks, almost like a capstone, right, kind of present. Obviously it's not going to be fully baked or a big piece, but looking at it kind of from that point. And then also to Brianna's point, we'd love to have someone, this part of our team is new, the supply chain, kind of global supply chain piece. So we'd love to identify someone that comes in and kind of takes control, and that we could hire. I think those two pieces, right? Even if we don't hire them, whatever the final product is, if it can be implemented, that's really what we're kind of looking for.
Yes, absolutely. And this has kind of been a recurring theme throughout this presentation, and our panelists have all said this. It's really about communication and being honest. If you want more work, if you want tougher projects, that's really going to demonstrate your ability to be successful. If you need to sort of say, hey, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what I'm doing, you can still be successful in your role, and we can pivot to something else. Communication is really big here. And I think that's one thing that really sets our program apart is that you have the ability to communicate what your desires are, what your passions are, and what you really want to contribute during your time here at T-Mobile. So the next question is a common question that we always get is, how do you stand out as an applicant? And I'm going to just go ahead and answer this pretty quickly. Feel free if anybody else has some advice from their own recruiting experience or having applied to T-Mobile, if they want to contribute. But standing out as an applicant is not just listing the classes that you took, because it's no big secret that everybody with the same major took the same exact classes. So for me personally, as a recruiter, I think that's wasted real estate on a resume when you list the classes that you took. Everybody with your same major took those classes. What I want to see is, what are your passion projects? What are your extracurricular activities? What is the leadership that you're bringing to the table? Because those are the things that set you apart when we're reviewing your resumes. Everybody knows the same coding languages, or pretty much, everyone knows the same marketing tools and platforms, or in supply chain, we know the Lean Six Sigma concepts. What sets you apart? So that's really going to be it, is your extracurriculars, your volunteer work, anything that you've done outside of the classroom, believe it or not, is really what we're looking for. Does anybody want to add anything to that from their own personal experience?
I mean, I'll echo everything you just said, Remy. Those extracurriculars, that volunteer work, and sometimes even if you've got a little extra space on your resume, listing out a favorite skill or hobby. You never know when your windsurfing addiction is going to match with the windsurfing addiction of one of our managers. So just kind of listing out some of those little things may also be a way to help you stand out. No need to go crazy, but just including a few little personal details will give us a really good idea and a very well-rounded picture of who you are as a student and more.
Love it. Yeah. Okay, so now we have a fun question for each of the panelists. And since it's for all of the panelists, I'm just going to go in order of appearance on the screen. So we'll go Brianna, Jesus, Katie, Douglas, Peter. What is your favorite Disney movie?
Mine's probably, I guess, The Lion King, maybe.
And why? I guess I should say, and why?
I'm a huge animal lover, so anything with animals or doggos or anything like that, I'm a fan of.
Love it. Jesus.
So I'll go the movie Up. That movie made me cry a little bit, so they play with my emotions, so I like that.
Ours is Coco, specifically because some of the songs, and my little 6-year-old loves to dance and sing all the songs, and that's really the only reason why.
Love it. Doug?
Oh man, I don't know if this counts as a Disney movie, because you're going to tell that I haven't seen it, and how is it my favorite? But the Mandalorian, but it's specifically because of the Baby Yoda. And I know there's a specific term. He's not called Baby Yoda, but I mean, I just can't get enough of Baby Yoda.
Yes, I haven't specifically watched it, but I heard that there is a specific name that you're supposed to use. I have seen Baby Yoda, and definitely cutest thing ever. Awesome. And Peter?
Yeah, I was going to cheat like Douglas and go with Star Wars, but I'll go with a little bit of a deep dive and say Robin Hood, which is a random movie. I don't know. This is probably the first Disney movie I saw. Now it just stuck with me.
Awesome.
I got to throw mine in there too, Remy.
Go ahead.
Finding Nemo.
I was going to say that one, but I didn't know if that was a Disney movie or not.
I mean, it's Disney, Pixar, but like top three, Brianna, you had mine, Lion King, and then Finding Nemo and Sleeping Beauty, because they all are around the theme of don't give up on what you want out of your life. Simba wants to be king, Nemo wants to find his dad, and Sleeping Beauty wants to find Prince Charming. Never give up on those things.
Love it. And I have to say that Andrea Martinez gave us the name of Baby Yoda, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, but it's Grogu.
And Robbie, what's your favorite Disney movie?
I'm a native Southern Californian, so Disney is in our blood. I love all Disney movies. I can't pick a favorite. But yeah, going similar to like Peter, kind of like what you first saw when you were little, I definitely have to go with Cinderella.
Yes. Good one.
All right. So our next question, and I know we're a little bit over time, so I'm just going to say, if you have to drop off, if you have other things that you have to attend to, we want to thank you for joining us. Feel free to drop off at any time. Don't forget to apply to our internships. But I'm going to ask this last question to our panel. How do you express working in the T-Mobile environment? How do you manage your work-life balance? And then if you feel like sharing a little bit more about your typical workday in that answer, please feel free to do so, because some folks have just asked a little bit more details about your roles. But just talk a little bit, tie it up with a little bit more in terms of what does work-life balance look like? What does culture look like at T-Mobile, specifically to your role? And again, since this is for everybody, I think I'm just going to go in the same order as the screen. So Brianna, if you want to kick us off.
Yeah, sure. So I would say that I feel like the work-life balance at T-Mobile it's definitely balanced, and I think it's something that a lot of people respect, and especially now after the merger, you have people in every single time zone, where previously, a lot of us were all on the West Coast. So I think, in that regards, people are a lot more conscious of kind of what's going on in your own life and trying to make sure that meeting times will actually work for you, not just with your schedule, but with what you're doing, especially with everybody working from home. People have kids running around. I foster puppies, so I have puppies running around all the time. And it's just, people are really good about respecting your time, respecting you. And something else that I've really come to appreciate is that it's something that, in my team specifically, if I'm feeling overwhelmed or kind of, swamped with work, I'm able to say, like, I just need to slow down for a second. I need 2 days to just get my stuff done. And then I can kind of come back and be ready to contribute more and be back in it. But I would say for sure that everybody is super respectful of that, which is helpful. And I guess super quick, just on my day-to-day, a lot of it is meetings. It's a lot of collaboration within my team. And I think marketing general, there's a ton of collaboration. So a lot of meetings, and then a lot of time also to just work on some special projects. You also have time to work on stretch projects if you want. So really great balance in all aspects of it.
Thank you so much. Jesus, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So what happened to me at the beginning of the pandemic is that I actually worked more than ever before, only because I was at home and I was just sitting and working and working. And then my boss is like, I think you're working too much. You're very productive, but you need to take a break because you're going to burn out. And he was right. I just needed to take a breather. And I didn't realize, because now being at home, right, there was no commute. There was no that extra little time. So, like, people are looking out for each other and they're saying like, hey, this is great work. However, you must take time off for like, and that's kind of like struck me like, yeah, people are really taking care of you throughout this process. So there's definitely life, balance. And so, I love that culture that, we work hard, but we also play hard. So.
And that's just incredible for your supervisor to recognize that and call that out, where other companies that I've personally worked with, it's exactly the opposite. The more work they can get out of you, they will, and they will burn you out. So I love that, Jesus. That's so great to hear. Doug.
Sure. Well, I would say that there's a saying that if you love what you do, you've never worked a day in your life, right? I think that's how probably many of us feel here at T-Mobile. But in all seriousness, the work-life balance it's definitely changed for me. And my team is very different in the sense that we are located all over the U.S. We have people in Bellevue. We have up here in New Mexico. I have up here in Tampa with me. But we're all very respectful of each other's time zones, and when we're making arrangements with one another, we make sure to keep it within that boundary of, well, what time zone are they in? I happen to benefit because I'm on the east side, or the East Coast. But with that being said, it's just knowing when to take a break, being respectful of one another's time. And the one thing that really helps keep me in check is living and breathing by my calendar and making sure everything that's scheduled on there needs to be in order. And then I have a hard stop time to, again, have that mental refresh so I don't hit that burnout.
Yes. I'm with you, Doug. There will be times where I have to schedule breaks on my calendar, or even just schedule, like, I will, send this email at this time because I've been avoiding sending it for 3 days. So thanks for sharing that tip. It's a really great tip. Peter, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of echo everyone else. I've had on more than one occasion, even my director tell me to take vacation. I had somebody call me, a senior director call me while I was on vacation once, and then profusely apologized that they disturbed me while I was out of the office, which, I don't think I don't know anyone anywhere else that's ever had anything like that happen. Jesus mentioned the work hard, play hard. That's actually like in our employee credo. That's like one of our 5 tenets is work hard, play hard. So when you're in here, you're getting stuff done, and there's a lot of meetings. So don't get me wrong, especially with the work from home. For us, that's been in our group, in our greater group. That's been the biggest challenge, is just the lack of one-on-one interaction to get things done. So lots of meetings, but at the end of the day, we're done. We don't work ridiculous hours, but we do work hard hours, and when we get together again, we'll play hard again. There's no experience quite like a T-Mobile earnings call, if you've never experienced one.
Well, I haven't been lucky enough to experience a T-Mobile's earnings call, but I will say this: when it comes to work hard, play hard, I joined T-Mobile back in April 2020, so I still feel fairly new. And one of the things that first kind of surprised me is my boss sent me a YouTube video of Post Malone covering Nirvana. And that to me was the biggest culture shock ever. So when we talk about culture and work hard, play hard, and just being in an environment that's really supportive of, hey, we're going to do a lot and we're going to work very hard, but we're going to have fun doing it. I think that is the epitome of what really demonstrated that to me as a new employee here at T-Mobile. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back to Corey to close us out. Corey, go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Remy, for helping moderate all the questions. I know there were probably a few that we didn't quite get to, and that just goes to show the enthusiasm that our students have for our wonderful company. And the same is echoed from my side. This is my favorite part of my job. I absolutely love chatting with students. So to kind of wrap us up, thank you again for spending your afternoon, evening. I know it's evening time, East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. It's still daylight here. But thank you so much for carving out an hour of your day to hang out with us and learn from our panelists. Let me talk at you guys for a good half an hour and hear all about T-Mobile and our Un-carrier revolution. We absolutely hope you consider applying for our internship program. If you're on the hunt for full-time roles, submit your application in there as well. We are super excited to have spent this time with you, and just thank you so, so very much. Stay safe, be healthy, and please wash your hands.